Hey everyone! Tonight we're stepping into a muddy field in 1415 where 6,000 ragged English soldiers faced 30,000 French knights. How did they pull off one of the history's greatest upsets? The Battle of Agincourt wasn't just a clash of swords, it was a test of grit, cunning, and a king who refused to back down. Picture these rains been pounding for days, turning the ground into a swamp. I'm standing with Henry's army, my boots sinking, my stomach growling. We're outnumbered, sick, and miles from home. Why are we even here? It started with a claim. Henry, barely 28, believed he was the rightful king of France. Crazy. Right. He'd crossed the channel with dreams of glory, but things went south fast. His army was battered after a brutal siege at Harfleur. Dysentery was killing more men than the enemy. By October, he just wanted to get his troops to Calais and sail home. But the French had other plans. They'd mustered a massive force: nobles, knights, the works determined to crush this upstart English king. I'm trudging along with the archers now, their longbows slung over shoulders. These guys aren't fancy knights. They're farmers, craftsmen, regular folks. But they're lethal. Henry's counting on them. The French, though they're laughing, thinking their heavy armor and sheer numbers will steamroll us. We reach a narrow field near Agincourt, hemmed in by woods. It's a choke point. Henry sees it and grins. This, he mutters, is where we make our stand. The night before the battle, I can't sleep. Rain's drumming on my hood. The camp's quiet, but tension's thick. Men are praying, sharpening arrows, or just staring into the dark. Henry walks among us, not like some distant king, but like a brother. He's got this fire in his eyes, like he knows something we don't. Tomorrow, he says, we'll show them what English hearts are made of. I want to believe him. But those odds, they're terrifying. Across the field, French campfires glow like a city. Their laughter carries over the wind. They're feasting, betting on how fast they'll slaughter us. I overhear one of our scouts. The French outnumber us 5-1. My heart sinks, but Henry's not fazed. He's got a plan. Something about the mud and those longbows. What's he thinking? Can a few thousand starving men really defy an army that size? I grip my dagger, wondering if I'll see another sunrise. What would you do, knowing tomorrow might be your last? These men, they're not just fighting for a king, they're fighting for each other. As dawn creeps closer, I feel it, a spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, we can pull this off. But the French are waking up now, their armor clanking. The battle's coming, and it's going to be brutal. Dawn breaks, gray and soggy, the air heavy with mist. I'm standing shoulder to shoulder with Henry's men, our breath steaming in the cold. The king's up front, his armor dented, but gleaming where the rains washed it clean. He's not pacing or praying, he's talking, his voice steady, like he's convincing us we're invincible. We're few, he says, but that makes us brothers. Every man here will be remembered. I glance at the archers beside me, their faces pale but set. His words hit hard. Can a speech really turn fear into fire? Henry's got this knack for making you believe. He's not promising gold or titles, just honor. Your names, he says, will live forever. Crispin's Day. They'll call it. I don't know what he means, but it feels big, like we are part of something eternal. He points to the field, that muddy strip between the woods. They'll come at us there, and we'll be ready. His plan's simple but bold. Use the terrain, trust the longbows, and hold the line. It's a gamble, but what choice do we have? I'm with the archers now, planting sharpened stakes in the ground. These are our first defense wooden spikes to stop the French cavalry. My hands ache, but there's no time to rest. Henry's riding up and down, checking positions, joking with a grizzled veteran about his aim. Hit him in the eyes. Tommy laughs. It's strange, seeing a king act so human. It makes me want to fight for him, not just for England. Across the field, the French are forming up, their banners snapping in the wind. There's so many thousands of knights in gleaming plate, horses stomping, crossbowmen in the rear. It's a wall of steel. I overhear a sergeant mutter. They've got the Dauphin himself. That's the French king's son, cocky and eager to prove himself. Henry hears it too, but just smirks. Let him come, he says. He'll learn. The mud's our secret weapon, Henry says. Last night's rain turned the field into a bog. Heavy knights will slog through it, tire fast. Our archers, lightly armored, can move quick. We'll bleed them before they reach us, he tells us. I'm starting to see it, those longbows, drawn by men who've trained their whole lives, could turn this swamp into a graveyard. But it's still 6,000 against 30,000. My stomach twists. What if he's wrong? Henry claps a young archer on the shoulder, tells him to aim true. For your wife back home, he says. The kid nods, eyes fierce. That's when I feel it. We're not just an army. We're a family now. The French are shouting now, their horns blaring. They're ready to charge. Henry raises his sword and we brace ourselves. Can his words and this muddy field really save us? The French are a glittering sea of armor, their banners bright against the dull sky. I'm crouched behind the stake, my heart pounding as their nobles shout orders. They're not scared, they're annoyed, like we're a nuisance to swat away. From where I stand, I can see their leaders, all pomp and polish, arguing over who gets to kill Henry first. The Dauphin's there, his horse prancing, his voice loud with boasts. We'll dine in Calais by nightfall. He laughs. Do they even see the mud sucking at their boots? I glance back at our lines. Henry's men are quiet, gripping bows and swords, eyes fixed on the enemy. We're ragtag compared to them, half-starved, soaked, some without proper shoes. But there's a steel in our stares. The French don't get it. They think numbers win wars. They're about to learn otherwise. Their knights, weighed down by plate armor, are already slipping in the churned-up field. A few horses shy away, sensing the trap. Why aren't their commanders worried? Their overconfidence is staggering. Last night, they gambled on who'd take the most prisoners, as if we are already beaten. Their camp was a party wine, music, servants scurrying. Meanwhile, we were sharpening stakes and praying. Now, their crossbowmen are lazily forming up, like this is a parade. I hear one of their captains, a grizzled duke, snap at a younger knight to stop showboating. Glories for the victors, he growls. But even he doesn't seem concerned about the narrow field or the woods boxing them in. Henry's watching it all, his face unreadable. He's positioned as perfectly archers on the flanks, men-at-arms in the center, stakes in front. The French have to come straight at us, through that muddy bottleneck. I overhear one of our captains, Sir Thomas, whisper. They're blind to the terrain. He's right. The field's a quagmire, plowed up from days of rain. Heavy armor will sink, horses will flounder. Do they think their pride will carry them through? I'm starting to feel it now, not just fear, but a flicker of hope. The French are so sure of themselves. They're not even trying to outflank us. Their plan seems to be charge, overwhelm, win. But every step they take is slower, their formation messier. A few knights dismount, cursing as their boots stick. One of our archers, a wiry lad named Will, nudges me. They're lambs to the slaughter, he whispers, stringing his bow. Is he right? Can we really turn their arrogance into our victory? The French horns blare, and their front line lurches forward, a wall of steel and fury. My mouth goes dry. They're coming, and there's no turning back now. What happens when all that pride meets our arrows? I grip my dagger, waiting for Henry's signal. The battle's about to begin, and the French have no idea what's coming. The French are moving now, a slow clanking tide of armor. I'm with the archers, my hands sweaty on my bowstring, waiting for Henry's signal. The king's eyes are locked on the enemy, his hand raised, hold. He murmurs, voice calm but sharp. The French knights are slogging through the mud, their horses slipping, their banners drooping in the drizzle. They're close enough I can see the emblems on their shields, lions, fleur-de-lis, all that noble pride. Then Henry drops his arm. Loose, he shouts, and the air explodes with the twang of 1,000 longbows. Arrows hiss like a swarm of hornets, blackening the sky. I pull and release, my arms burning, not thinking, just aiming for the glint of French armor. The first wave hits, and it's chaos. Knights scream as arrows punch through visors, pierce joints, drop horses mid-stride. The mud's a nightmare for them heavy plate sinks. Men stumble, shields catch the quagmire. Our longbows, drawn by men who've trained since boyhood, fire faster than their crossbows can dream. Another volley, then another. The French front line's a tangle of bodies and panic. I steal a glance at Will, the archer beside me. He's grinning, knocking another arrow. Told you lambs, he yells. But it's not over. The French keep coming, driven by sheer numbers, their nobles shouting to press on. Some knights dismount, thinking they'll fare better on foot, but the mud's relentless. They're wading, not charging, their armor dragging them down. Our stakes tear into their cavalry, horses shrieking as they impale themselves. It's brutal, and I can't look away. Henry's riding along our line, shouting again. For England, his voice cuts through the din, and we obey, sending another storm of arrows. The French are slowing, their formation crumbling as men trip over the fallen. I see a knight, his plume bright red, go down with an arrow in his neck. Is that a Lord the Dauphin? No way to know. The field's a slaughterhouse now, mud churned red, and still we fire. How many can we stop before they reach us? The French crossbowmen finally shoot back, but their bolts fall short, sinking harmlessly into the muck. Their archers are too far back, blocked by their own knights. Henry planned for this. The narrow field funnels them into our kill zone. I'm starting to believe we might hold them, but the rear of their army is still fresh, thousands more waiting to charge. My arms ache, my quiver's half empty. Can we keep this up? What happens when they close the gap? A roar goes up from our men as another French wave falters, arrows cutting them down like wheat. For the first time, I feel it. We're not just surviving, we're fighting back. The longbows are our edge, the mud our ally. But the French are stubborn, and they are not running yet. How long can we keep death raining from the sky? The French are in disarray, their front lines shredded by our arrows, but they're still coming. I'm shoulder to shoulder with the men-at-arms now, my bow swapped for a sword, the archer's quivers nearly spent. The mud's a red mire, littered with bodies, knights, horses, broken lances. The surviving French knights have ditched their mounts, wading toward us on foot, their armor caked and heavy. They're close enough I can hear their labored breathing, see the fury in their eyes. This is it, the melee's starting, and it's going to be ugly. I'm in the center, where Henry's positioned his toughest fighters. The French hit our line like a wave, swords clanging, shields cracking. A knight swings at me, his blade grazing my shoulder, before I dodge and jab back. The mud's our savior. His footing slips, and he stumbles, giving me a chance to retreat. All along the line, it's chaos. English soldiers, lighter and nimbler, dance around the sluggish French, striking at gaps in their armor. But there's so many of them, pushing forward with raw strength. Henry's in the thick of it, his sword flashing, fighting like a man possessed. "Hold the line," he bellows, rallying us as a French knight nearly knocks him back. I see Will, the archer, now wielding a dagger, tackling a knight into the muck. We're not trained for this like the French, but we're desperate, and that's enough. The narrow field keeps their numbers from overwhelming us. They're packed tight, tripping over each other, their fancy armor a death trap in the sludge. A French noble, his crest gleaming, rallies his men, shouting about honor. He charges, only to sink knee-deep, an English billhook catching his helm. Down he goes, and a cheer ripples through our ranks, but it's not all victories. I see men I ate with last night fall, their screams cut short. My heart's racing. How are we still standing? The French should have crushed us by now, but their attack's a mess. Their leaders bickering even as they fight. Did their pride blind them this badly? I'm panting, my arms heavy. But there's no time to rest. Another wave of French knights presses in, their swords hacking wildly. We're holding, but barely. I glance at Henry, his face streaked with mud and blood. Not his. I hope. He's shouting encouragement, but his eyes are scanning the field. Is he worried? The French rear is still out there. Thousands more who haven't fought yet. What's it going to take to break them? The ground shakes as another French push slams into us, but our line bends, doesn't break. I'm fighting for the man next to me, for Henry, for survival. The mud's choking the French, our resolve burning brighter than their steel. Can we keep this up? Or is this where we falter? The battle's far from over, and every swing feels like it could be my last. The melee's a blur of steel and screams, the air thick with the stink of blood and mud. I'm swinging my sword, barely keeping up as French knights hammer our line. We're holding, but it's costing us. Men are falling, their bodies piling in the muck. Then I hear a shout from the rear, panicked, French voices crying about an attack on their camp. It's our baggage train. Some of our lads must have slipped around. The French waver, their eyes darting back. Henry sees it too, and his voice roars over the chaos. Push them now. But he's got a darker plan. The French prisoners, we've taken hundreds, maybe more, are crowded behind our lines, guarded by a handful of archers, their nobles worth ransoms. But Henry's face hardens. Kill them, he orders, his voice low, like it pains him. I freeze, my blade still dripping. Kill unarmed men. The archers hesitate, looking to each other. But Henry's glare is steel. Do it, or we're lost. He snaps. I see Will, his dagger shaking, step toward a bound knight. The man pleads, but Will's face is blank. He slashes, and the knight falls. It's a gut punch. These are the rules of war, but it feels wrong. The French prisoners are screaming now, some begging, others cursing us as the blades come down. I turn away, focusing on the fight, but the sounds haunt me. Henry's reasoning hits me later. If that French rearguard rallies, they could free the prisoners, arm them, and hit us from behind. He's gambling our survival on this brutal call. Would you have done it, knowing it might save your men? The slaughter's quick but feels endless. Our line pushes forward, fueled by desperation. The French, a rattled word of the execution spreads, and their morale cracks. Their knights, slogging through the mud, start to falter, some throwing down their swords. I'm with a group of men-at-arms, shoving a French sergeant into the mire, his armor too heavy to rise. We're not just fighting now, we're breaking them. Henry's in the fray, his sword red, shouting, "For England," like it's a prayer. The field's a graveyard. French bodies stacked so high we're climbing over them. My arms burn. My breath's ragged. But there's a shift. The French aren't charging anymore. Their nobles are shouting retreat, but the mud traps them. And our archers, grabbing whatever arrows they can find, keep firing. I look at Henry. His face grim but alive with purpose. Did his ruthless choice just save us or damn us? The battle's still raging, but for the first time, I think we might win. What does it cost to hold a line like this? I'm not sure I want to know. The French are breaking, but their rear guard's still out there, regrouping. We've got to finish this, or all this blood ours. Theirs will be for nothing. The French are crumbling. Their line's a mess of mud and panic. I'm pushing forward with the men-at-arms, my sword heavy but swinging as we carve through the stragglers. The field's a nightmare, bodies everywhere, some still twitching, others buried in the mire. Our archers, out of arrows, grab axes and daggers, joining the fray. Henry's up front, his armor splattered red, shouting, onward like a man possessed. The French rearguard, thousands strong, is still out there, but they're hesitating, their banners dipping as their nobles fall. I see a French lord, maybe a duke, try to rally his men, his voice hoarse over the screams. For France he cries, but an English billhook catches his shoulder, and he drops, his gilded armor useless. The Dauphin's nowhere in sight, fled or dead, I can't tell. Their knights, way down, are sinking, some drowning in the mud as they try to retreat. It's not a battle anymore, it's a rout. We're chasing them now, our exhaustion burned away by the thrill of survival. Can you imagine it? 6,000 of us, turning 30,000 into a mob. Henry's strategy. Those longbows, the muddy choke point, his ruthless call has broken them. I spot Will, his face grim but fierce, pulling a French knight's helmet off and clubbing him down. We're not fighting for glory, we're fighting to live. The French rear finally moves, but it's too late, their formation sloppy, their men spooked by the carnage. Our line surges, a ragged wave of English steel, and they buckle. A cheer rises, raw and wild. We're doing it. We're actually winning, but it's not clean. I stumble over a boy, barely 16, his French surcoat torn, eyes wide with terror. He's begging, but there is no time for mercy, not after Henry's order. I turn away, my stomach twisting, and keep moving. The French are running now, some throwing down their swords, others trampled by their own men. Their camp, with its wine and banners, is ours for the taking. I see English soldiers already looting, grabbing gold and armor like it's a market day. Henry rides through, his face a mask of dirt and resolve. Enough, he shouts, stopping the slaughter of those who surrender. He's won, but he's not gloating. The field's quieting. The only sounds groans and the squelch of boots. I'm shaking, my sword arm numb. We've done the impossible, but at what cost? The French are broken, their nobles dead or captured, their army scattered. I look at the king, wondering what he's thinking. Is this victory worth the blood? The battle's over, but the weight of it lingers. We're alive, against all odds. But the field tells a different story, one of loss, on both sides. What does it mean to win like this? I'm not sure, but I know we'll never forget this day. The field is still, a sea of mud and broken steel under a grey sky. I'm standing among the survivors, my breath ragged, my sword dangling useless in my hand. We've won 6,000 of us against 30,000, a miracle carved in blood. Henry walks the battlefield, his armor battered, his eyes heavy. He stops by a fallen archer, kneels, and murmurs a prayer. The French are gone. Their survivors fled or captured. Their camp looted. Banners that flew proud hours ago lie trampled. I should feel triumph, but all I see is the cost. I pass Will, sitting on a crate, staring at his bloody dagger. We did it, he mutters, but there's no joy in his voice. The numbers hit me, thousands of French dead, maybe a few hundred of us, nobles, knights, boys who will never go home. They're all equal in the mud. Henry's victory is stunning, a tale for the ages, but it's built on choices that haunt us. That order to kill the prisoners. The screams still echo in my head. Was it worth it, I want to ask him. But his face says he's asking himself the same. The men are gathering what's left: arrows, armor, a few coins. Some laugh, others weep. I overhear a sergeant say the French lost dukes, counts, maybe even the Dauphin's brother. This wasn't just a battle, it shifted the war. Henry's claim to France feels real now, his name a legend. But as I watch him, he's not celebrating. He's checking on the wounded, thanking men by name. "You're England's heart," he tells a limping archer. "It's why we fought for him." I realize not for a crown, but for a man who sees us. The sun's sinking, casting long shadows over the carnage. I think of home, of fields that aren't soaked in blood. Agincourt's ours, but it's a bitter prize. We'll march to Calais, sail back to England, tell stories of this day. But the truth? It's not just about longbows or mud or Henry's speech. It's about men who stood together when the others said we'd die. That's what I'll carry, not the glory, but the weight of survival. What would you carry from a day like this? I'm curious, tell me in the comments. And if you want more stories of medieval knights and impossible battles, hit that subscribe button. There's plenty more where this came from. Conclusion. Agincourt wasn't just a victory. It was a moment that defined a king and a nation. Henry V turned desperation into legend, proving that courage and cunning can defy the odds. But the cost lives lost. Choices made reminds us that glory comes heavy. Today, we romanticize medieval battles, but they were brutal, human, raw. What can we learn from Agincourt's mud and blood? How do we face our own impossible odds? Drop your thoughts below, and let's keep exploring history's wildest stories together. Maybe next time, we'll uncover another king's gamble,